Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to Politics with Riley King. Let's begin. Kelly's first general election TV ad hits Sununu for opposing paid family and medical leave. Democratic Governor Molly Kelly launched her first television ad of the general election campaign Sunday, showing people criticizing Governor Chris Sununu for opposing paid family and medical leave legislation earlier this year. Shaheen Hassan weigh in on Kavanaugh's confirmation. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Tim Callery.
The look of the indoors.
Senator Jeanne Shaheen taking to the Senate floor just before the vote began to confirm now Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Shaheen noted she was a no vote for Kavanaugh long before allegations were brought against him.
Based on concerns that I had with his record.
Those concerns surrounding what she describes as Kavanaugh's opposition of the Affordable Care Act, his opposition to women's reproductive rights, and what she says were his views on executive branch power. And as the Senate moves forward, she also encouraged her colleagues to think about the confirmation process and consider what it means for future Supreme Court nominees.
This process has inflamed existing divides within our country and within Congress. And we can't let this become the status quo. As an institution, as a legislative body, we must be better than this.
Senator Maggie Hassan released a statement shortly after the Kavanaugh vote, which read in part, quote, Judge Kavanaugh is the antithesis of the impartial arbiter that a Supreme Court justice must be, and the American people deserve far better. Governor Sununu also issued a statement writing, quote, I have said from the beginning that Judge Brett Kavanaugh is more than qualified to sit on the United States Supreme Court, given his extensive legal and judicial experience. We are also hearing from the governor's opponent for his seat, Democratic candidate Molly Kelly, who wrote, quote, with Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation, women's reproductive rights are now in jeopardy, and state leadership has never been more important. And during her time on the floor today, Senator Shaheen did touch on Dr. Christine Blasey Ford's testimony, saying it was sincere, incredible, and that she believed Dr. Ford. Live in the studio, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. How Massachusetts lawmakers reacted to confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh. The Senate has confirmed Brett Kavanaugh in as Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, putting a second nominee from President Donald Trump on the highest court in the land. Kavanaugh was confirmed 50 to 48 Saturday during a historic roll call vote in the Senate chamber. The two-vote margin is one of the narrowest ever for a Supreme Court nominee. Massachusetts lawmakers quickly reacted to the vote on social media and via statement made by their press offices. Boston Mayor Marty Walsh weighed in and U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren weighed in, and U.S. Senator Ed Markey weighed in. Congressman Seth weighed in. Congressman Joe Kennedy weighed in. And we will show you what they said. Let's take a look. And here's what Boston Mayor Marty Walsh said right here. And here is what U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren said. Here is what U.S. Senator Ed Markey said. Here's what Congressman Seth Malt said. Here's what Congressman Joe Kennedy III said. And those are the comments from each of the lawmakers in Boston, Massachusetts. Kavanaugh sworn in as protesters chant outside Supreme Court. Let's take a listen to the video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
The Landing at Cape Elizabeth, living your life meaningfully in the comfort of your home. Permanent and respite stays available with award-winning quality care. Ask us about a Maine Bridge to Home respite care in an assisted living setting. Call The Landing at Cape Elizabeth today.
Sufficient second. Sergeant at Arms will restore order in the gallery. Is there a sufficient second? There is a sufficient second. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Alexander.
The Sergeant at Arms will restore order in the gallery. The Sergeant at Arms will restore order in the gallery. Sergeant at Arms will restore order in the gallery. Sergeant at Arms has restored order in the galleries. The Sergeant at Arms will restore order in the gallery. The clerk may continue.
Okay, and there is what happened yesterday. And we want to hear from all of you. What do you think about Brett Kavanaugh being sworn in? Comment below and let us know. Supreme Court will nullify Roe versus Wade even if it doesn't overturn it. Senate Dem. A Democratic senator said that with Brett Kavanaugh now on the Supreme Court, she expects the court to chip away at the right to abortion rather than to directly overturn the 1973 Roe versus Wade ruling. And that did it for this edition of Politics with Riley King. I hope you all enjoy this edition of Politics with Riley King. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll see you back here next Sunday for another edition of Politics with Riley King. Goodbye, everyone.